Everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the Mary Kay blending sponge. As always, I think every single product, they have good and bad things that you should know before purchasing it. So in this video, I'm going to go through them, let you know my experience with it, a few tips and things that you should keep in mind. And also by the end of the video, all this information is going to help you decide if this blending sponge is the right for you. Beauty Blender, I think, started this trend a few years ago, and it's one of those trends that really stuck with us. I feel like there's some people that love the Beauty Blender or blending sponge, and some other people really like to, stick to brushes. But I think it's a great alternative if you want something more from your makeup. So what I really like about this one in particular from Mary Kay is the shape. It does look like a beauty blender, but it has this little rim here where it makes it easy to kind of grab it and apply it directly to your face. Also, if you want to use the bottom part, you can also go into this rim area, get it from here, and apply it directly to your skin. So it does have the perks of being kind of an egg-shaped sponge just because of the tip and the precise application, and also it has this flat surface that will give you more surface to cover with this and apply the foundation, and also how easy it is to use it just because of this little rim right here. Now, another thing that I think is a pro with this blending sponge is that it does really grow when you get it wet. Now, we all know that the Beauty Blender grows 2 times its size, and this one, it almost gets to that point. It's harder than the Beauty Blender if you compare it to that one, if you used that one before. When you touch it, it is harder, but when you put it under or you run it under the water, you just get rid of the excess water, it does grow and expand, and you will see how the fibers or whatever it's made out of, it really expands to the point that it makes it easier to handle it because it's going to be softer, and at the same time it will give you more power of a blending, which is something that doesn't happen when they have that very hard kind of sponge from other brands that it's not going to grow when you get it wet. Now, another thing that I like about this blending sponge, it's because of how it grows and the fibers expand. It really makes it easier to blend. So if you're going to use a brush to build up the foundation because you have some skin problems, you can finish it with this blending sponge and it will give you more of a natural look. Even though you may have 10 coats of foundations or layer of foundation, this is going to make it look a lot more natural. Now, if you decide to use it just as the way for applying your foundation, it does give you coverage and it does build up the coverage at the same time. But just so you know, you don't really have to use it for the application of foundation. You can use it on top and you can still get the results of a very well blended foundation with a lot of coverage. But if you make sure to get rid of all the water, it will give you more of a natural look that you can set with powder if you wish to do that to create more of a matte foundation. Now, a few things that you should keep in mind before purchasing this blending sponge. If you have acne, active acne, the one that you see stuff coming out of, I wouldn't recommend you to try this blending sponge. The problem is that those bacteria and stuff are going to get into this sponge and it's going to be all over your face. And that is going to happen with a foundation brush. Although most foundation brushes, they have a coating that is antibacterial, so technically the brush is not going to absorb the bacteria, but it's still going to spread it. So what I do when I used to do makeup on people, I would have just one brush for that specific area and then use a different one all over the face. So if you want to do that with the blending sponge, it's something you can totally do. But I think that a sponge, it really would absorb more the bacteria than a brush. So I wouldn't recommend it if you have a lot of acne. Something that you should decide for yourself, but keep those things in mind. This is not about the blending sponge by Mary Kay, but it's a sponge itself and how much absorb bacteria and how more clean you have to keep it just to make sure that it's not going to spread the next time you apply your makeup So you'll have to wash it every single time and make sure you disinfect it. Another thing is, if you have a lot of darkness on your skin, you can use this for blending your foundation and build up the coverage, but it's never going to be as full coverage as maybe a flat top kabuki. This is going to be the kind of brush that is going to build up the coverage easier with less product, and the way to go if you need to cover the darkest, I don't know, dark spots or whatever you're trying to cover. It's best if you start with a brush and then go in with the blending sponge if that's what you want. You know, it's just one of the things that you should know. This is not going to 100% replace your foundation routine if you have a lot to cover. Those are just some of the things that you should keep in mind. I'm sure there's a lot more that you guys can share with me in the comments down below, just in case somebody out there is looking for information about this blending sponge. But based on my experience, not only with this blending sponge itself, but with the process of using a sponge for blending your makeup, I just think that those are the most important things that you should keep in mind. Now I'm going to do another video. I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that you can use this blending sponge, and I'm also going to show you how you can wash it to keep it looking nice. Of course, I just used it today, so it's dirty. Also, how to disinfect it. So if you're the kind of person that is kind of grossed out with germs and stuff and bacteria that can build up into your sponge, I'll share that with you in a future video. So anyways, that is it for this video. If you're new, please remember to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any new videos in the future. If you want to see more Mary Kay videos, I'll have a playlist on the top of the screen right now and also in the description box down below. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on my next video.